But when it comes to high-speed internet and cell phone service in rural Montana, almost everyone agrees it's not what it should be. But then comes the next questions. Where exactly is it lacking, and how do you fill those gaps? MTN's Mike Dennison has been looking into these questions and more on this complex issue, and tonight he brings us the first of a three-part series on the status and the future of broadband and cell phone service in rural Montana.
In downtown Hamilton, the unofficial capital of the fast-growing Bitterroot Valley in southwest Montana, high-speed internet is readily available for businesses and most homeowners. But in this neighborhood a few miles off the valley's main highway, you can't get it.
It's not like we live way up in the mountain, you know, where they can't get to our house. We live off of a very busy highway, you know, and I think we should be able to have access to the internet.
Kim Parish is like tens or even hundreds of thousands of Montanans who live relatively close to a major city, less than 20 miles south of Missoula, but no company offers them a high-speed fiber internet connection.
The problem is in the areas that are served by the national carriers. Those companies, they will well serve the areas that are dense, highly concentrated, downtown Helena, downtown Great Falls. And so it's generally that they serve the donut hole, but it's the donut that doesn't get served.
Gibson is the CEO for Three Rivers Communications, a rural telecom headquartered in Fairfield that serves areas from Browning to Big Sky. It's installing fiber optic cable to serve all of its 15,000 rural customers, including some in very remote locales. Other rural telecoms in Montana are doing the same, financed largely by federal universal service funds and rural development loans. Yet, if you're living off the beaten path and you're not in the rural telecom service area, you might be out of luck. Ron Marshall owns vaping shops in Hamilton, Belgrade, and Bozeman and has internet at his shop locations. But when he goes home a few miles outside of Corvallis, he has no high-speed internet to check on his business.
I can fire up my computer, turn on my hotspot, let it load. I'll just go in the kitchen and make dinner and eat. I'll come back and maybe, just maybe, one of the pages is actually loaded. Marshall says it's an economic issue as well for rural and suburban areas. If you don't have access to the internet, basic internet, let alone high-speed internet, how do you expect jobs to stay in the valley, or people to come in and create businesses that will create those jobs? The businesses are going to go to places where they have accessibility to all of this. A spokesman for Spectrum, which provides high-speed cable internet in many Montana cities and towns, says it's always looking to expand its network in Montana, but must consider the overall economic feasibility on any expansion. The rural telecoms in Montana are protective of their federal funding and say it's not always enough to do what they want. But they acknowledge that public funding is likely the answer to reach areas that they can't and won't serve.
And I don't think there's any solution to that other than you're going to have to throw money at the large carriers to encourage them or require them to serve those outlying areas.
So until someone can figure out where that money will come from, the search for high-speed broadband in these underserved areas for many people will continue. In the Bitterroot Valley, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Tomorrow, Mike drills down the details of cell phone coverage in rural Montana.